Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, my today's lecture is for class 10th. The chapter is Heredity and Genetics, Life Science. So what is heredity? The transmission of characters or traits from the parents to their offspring is called heredity. Heredity means continuity of features from one generation to the next. Now the traits or characters, a recognizable feature of a human being or any other organism like height, shape of hair, color of eyes, shape of nose and chin, etc. are called characters or traits. So when these traits or characters are transferred from parents to their offspring, it is called heredity. As two parents, a male and a female, they are involved in sexual reproduction. The sexually reproducing organisms produce sex cells or gametes. The male gamete called sperm fuse with a female gamete called ovum or egg to form a zygote which gradually develops into a young one or offspring, showing some similarities with the parents. Actually, the hereditary information is present in the sex cells of the parents. Thus, gametes constitute the link between one generation and the next and pass on the paternal and maternal characters or traits to the offsprings. This relation that continues to exist between successive generations is referred to as heredity. Now, what is the variation? Although the offsprings inherit the characters or traits of the parents and resemble them very closely, but the resemblance is not complete in all respects. The offsprings are never a true copy of the parents. In fact, no two individuals are exactly alike, and the members of any one species differ from one another in some characters or traits. These differences are known as variations. So, variations is the occurrence of differences among the individuals of a species. For example, people have different heights. Their complexion, type of hair, color of eyes, shape of nose and shape of chin also show differences. The differences in the characters or traits among the individuals of a species is called variation. For example, human height is a trait which shows variation. This is because some people are very tall, some are less tall, some have medium height, some have short height, whereas others are very short. Then the accumulation of variations, how these variations, how does the creation of variation species ensure its survival? As the reproduction of organisms produce variations, the variations produced in organisms during successive generations get accumulated in the organisms. The significance of a variation shows up only if it continues to be inherited by the offspring for several generations. Suppose a bacterium produces two bacteria by asexual reproduction. Again, suppose that one of the offspring bacterium has a variation due to which it can tolerate a little higher temperature than the other. Now this variation of a little more heat resistance will go on accumulating in the offsprings of successive generations of this bacterium, and this will ultimately give rise to a variant of bacteria which will be highly heat resistant and be able to survive even at very high temperatures. The great advantage of variation to a species is that it increases the chance of its survival in a changing environment. For example, the accumulation of heat resistant variation in some bacteria will ensure its survival even when the temperature in its environment rises too much due to a heat wave or some other reasons. On the other hand, the bacteria which did not have this variation to withstand heat would not survive under these circumstances and die.